Hey, y'all hear what I heard? Y'all hear that?
Patrick Willingham looked around the dining room table at his old college friends, old being the operative word, as they were now well past being spring chickens and more like roosters and mother hens at the age of 39, headed toward the Big 4-0. The former band members at the Birmingham, Alabama Missionary University had been ride-or-die fam for almost 20 years, and the BAMU alumni were still stuck like glue, at least for their annual holiday reunions 4 times a year. But this Christmas reunion, Patrick couldn't help but call out the obvious missing member, who was threatening to break up the band because of her absence. He noticed that MIA's nemesis in the group didn't seem too stressed by Santana Jones's disappearing act. Christina Hicks had held a permanent smile on her face since the moment they all arrived at the luxury Seaverville Cabin Resort in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. The former drum major and star basketball player on BAMU's undefeated team during his heyday was also the former college boyfriend of their missing member and occasional fuck buddy during their reunion hookups. The thought of his caramel cutie riding his primed and ever-ready dick made him feel some type of way about Santana's absence from the trip. Unlike Christina's typically salty ass, now unusually gleeful disposition, the rest of their crew also seemed less concerned about Santana's ability to sell fam out for the man, and her obsession with the capitalist society and greed for more money and more prestige in her fancy-ass job as a real fucking live Olivia Pope.
Okay, am I just talking to myself? Or y'all just ignoring your boy? Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's way too peaceful here if you ask me. Where's the bickering between Miss Salty over there and Santana fusing over whose music we gonna play, or if we going sightseeing, or hanging around the crib, drinking and playing spades? Y'all remember the infamous feud over who got to choose the holiday movie marathon?
Franklin Reeves, Patrick's sidekick, and Phi Beta Sigma frat brother, snorted as he held on to the beer, threatening to spill from his thick lips while trying to hold in a bout of laughter. Mika, the former captain of the Majorettes and still fine-ass leader of the group, just rolled those sexy brown eyes while she slurped her mango smoothly laced with vodka. Christina, the topic of their discussion, just rolled her disinterested eyes and continued to let her fingers do the talking to whomever she was busy texting instead of engaging in her frat brother's banter. As a Zeta Phi Beta and still active member, she had the misfortune of spending more time with Patrick than she cared to throughout the year, especially since all he could talk about was how he missed Santana's sweet pussy. Christina silently imagined his thirsty, shameless behavior, repelled the flirtatious but ever elusive tease, and career-driven Santana Artemis Jones from committing to a permanent dwelling. The woman never seemed to plant her feet too long in one place, and enjoyed being a nomad and seeing the world whenever the spirit moved her.
Patrick, you know she would have been here if she could have, but she's in the middle of a crisis intervention in London.
Christina shook her head as she continued to text away, despite Patrick's beady brown eyes burning a hole in her curly crown.
Speak for yourself, Mika. I think Patrick's right. It's just the type of silent night we all need without Santana's spoiled little rich girl routine on this trip. We already had to endure her picky ass on Turks and Caicos trip that past 4th of July. So if the diva is too busy for us, she can kick rocks.
Franklin wasn't as successful as saving his Guinness this time.
Dang, Chris. Look what you done made me do. Girl, you cold. You know you miss your bitch, buddy. Y'all fucking love them catfights more than you probably love pussy.
Franklin stopped dabbing his precious turtleneck in midstream as his brain registered what his mouth had blurted out. The looks from Mika and Patrick warned him that he might have just taken a bit too much liberty, joking with the sharp-tongued and short-tempered Christina Hicks, whose bite was definitely worse than her bark. But, to their surprise and dismay, her response was less deadly than they'd all imagined.
Now that's where you're wrong. Franklin Reeves, nobody loves pussy as much as I love it. Battling with Santana is entertaining, but the pussy I acquire is way more satisfying.
On that note, Christina put her head back down and focused on texting the mystery woman without concern for her rude behavior toward her vacation buddies. Patrick snorted and took a swig of his own beer before doing his best to get in the last dig. He now felt it was his role to squabble with his Sarah in Santana's absence.
Well, it looks like you pretty busy with some of that pussy that is more entertaining than even your fam sitting right here. This must be some prime pussy. Got you on radio silence with us.
Christina looked up briefly and then gave Patrick a gorgeous bright smile from those chocolate color painted lips that made most women melt at the sight of the ebony beauty.
Wouldn't you like to know? Since my ass is being so rude, y'all excuse me for a few moments. I'll be back in time to get dinner started. Patrick, Franklin, y'all doing the dishes since me and Mika are cooking tonight.
Christina headed toward the privacy of one of the 4 romantic bedrooms, all decorated for Christmas, with garland, lights, mini Christmas trees, and even mistletoe. The queen-size bed in her chosen room was outfitted with a thick red and white comforter set. The electric fireplace filled the spacious room with cozy warmth, and the smell of the pine cones placed throughout the room permeated the room with sweet cinnamon. The hot tub that sat proudly, awaiting Christina to soak her tired feet and soar back into a healing euphoria, was calling her name. She sat on the tub's edge as she gazed out the bay window at the picturesque view of the Smoky Mountains. It was almost dusk, and the view was breathtaking. Light snow was falling, and the sky was a mixture of bright white snow and burnt orange. She sighed softly at the thought that she'd be spending this week in such beautiful, romantic surroundings without a lover. Why Mika had decided to get the group such accommodations was puzzling to Christina, but she wouldn't complain. After the long ride in the cramped economy car her cheap frat brother rented, instead of a mid-size or minivan from Atlanta to Tennessee, her sciatica was acting up, and her feet were screaming for her to reward them with a dip in the soaking tub. The least she could do was remove her snug boots while she finished her conversation before performing her first night of kitchen duty. Then later, she would return to her bedroom for the much-needed soak under the night sky and stars of Pigeon Forge. Imagining such a reward brought an even brighter smile to her face than the sassy text message.
So you really gonna play me like that, Chris? I bet if I was your pussy, you wouldn't be such a shitty bitch. Girl, you wouldn't even know how to handle this wop to be my woman. Plus, you need to stop playing. Your dick over here crying over the cat. You need to stop playing. You know Patrick and I are old news. That boy just always looking for a free cat, and I'm way too expensive. Girl, you way too funny. But seriously, you really not gonna make it? I'm sorry, Chris. As much as I like to whoop your ass this year in our reindeer games, duty calls. I gotta make them bags. Everybody can't be a superhero busy preparing a future generation to make this world a better place. Some of us have to clean up the mess that the current generation fucked up. But I'll do my best to schedule time off for New Year's Eve, if I can. You know I don't want to miss what that cat brings to the party. Okay, look, I need to run. I'm cooking tonight. Enjoy your busy life. Christina Teresa Hicks, don't do that. I haven't spent the last year being straight up with you for you to be shady with me. I enjoy our fun and games when we hang with fam. But it's me and you right now. Don't be mad, please. I'm sorry, you right. We'll send you pics and videos so you can see the crazy shit I'm sure Patrick and Franklin will get us into. We'll miss you. I'll miss you.
The day Christina Hicks fell in love with neo soul was the day she met her new college roomie, Santana Jones, over 20 years ago. Dwelle, Floetry, the Fugees, and Maxwell were the soundtrack to her fantasies of her very straight Bamboo college buddy, or so she thought. Now, years later, as they gather during their annual Bamboo Buddies Christmas getaway, Chris has a chance to explore a deeper relationship with this new Santana who's not only letting her hair down, but might just be catching feelings and perhaps expressing some old school loving that's been there all the time. Are you ready for these reindeer games? As Christina and Santana kiss and tell under the mistletoe and more? Then, pre-order your copy of new author Shylee Campbell's debut novel, Catching Feelings, today.